Again, a very good morning, good evening, dear fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Mohammad Asir, today's Sergeant at Arms and Zoom Master of the meeting. Our club mission is to provide a supportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. At Leadership Speak, it is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become a better self-directed leader. Now, our timer has the virtual hand raised. Let me see, we have the timer. Sai is available. Okay, so we do not have Sai, we have Toastmaster Bram, who is going to play this timer role, and he has his hand raised, which you can see. And today our TMOD is going to lead our meeting. So let me welcome our Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day, Jennifer, is a passionate Toastmaster for 16 years. Jennifer took her district to world number 7, achieving the Smedley Distinguished Distinct Award when COVID shut down the world down. An educator with a passion to give back to the students struggling with English as a second language. Learn, unlearn, and relearn is her mantra in life. Let me welcome Toastmaster of the day, Jennifer Ghosh. Toastmaster Jennifer, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. Good day, self-directed leaders, and welcome to our meeting where leaders are made. The tagline of Toastmasters International also states so, isn't it? Here is where we sharpen our axe to stand up and stand out. So our theme today is on emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence, you may ask? Well, research says understanding your own emotions, being able to pick up cues from others, being able to manage your responses to reactions, and also being appropriate in social situations. These are but just a few of the things that cover emotional intelligence. Research also has it that people with high EI understand that when happy, a person is more likely to accept a social invitation than when sad or afraid. As per John D. Myers, a personality analyst, emotional intelligence is often claimed to be many things it is not. It is not optimism, he says, nor happiness. It's not calmness either, or motivation. Such qualities, he informs, although important in life, have little or nothing to do with intelligence. On that note, I would like to take our meeting forward and introduce you to the team of goal-oriented, self-directed leaders who have chosen to lead through their actions today. As you can see, our timer has his virtual hand raised for our convenience. Brahm is our timer today. I will like to invite him to introduce his role. Over to you, Brahm.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. You see the agenda that is posted in the chat, and it has times that says green, yellow, and red. And I will put on the timing lights according to what's on the agenda. That's the green. It'll remain on for a minute or half a minute, depending on whether it's evaluation or speeches, the yellow and the red. And that's my job today. I think the timer was supposed to be on the agenda is in the room now, so we'll work with them together. Thank you.
All right, thank you and welcome, Venkat. So welcome, my dear self-directed leaders of Leadership Speaks. Welcome to the moment that we have all been waiting for. I would like to invite a special person to raise a toast as we take off on this journey. Sundar Subramaniam is a coach by profession, helping individuals and businesses to overcome getting overwhelmed by understanding their own strengths to leverage success. Dear Sundar, the virtual platform awaits you. Please come on the stage. Thank you. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. As infants, we began to learn and apply by imitating siblings, grown-ups, then exploring on our own with friends and playing and observing. All this happened. Then taking it further as experiences that shows up as verbal and non-verbal actions, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills are those actions. We started to cultivate and acquire skills associating oneself with others. It is EQ, emotional intelligence, the ability to identify and regulate one's emotions and understand the emotions the others. Yeah, high EQ helps one to build relationships, reduce team stress, diffuse conflicts, and improve job satisfaction. It is subtle in communication and connection. Most of them have it, and some may have mastered it. What would happen if we aren't connecting and communicating? So, for better and stronger connect and communication with humans and beings, Madam Toastmasters, distinguished guests, wherever you are, please raise your glasses with me for a toast to perceive and ponder on emotional intelligence. Thank you. Back to you, team.
Thank you very much for that wonderful toast, Sundar. All right, next up is our educational speaker. She is none other than the charming, nurturing Noorul Munwwara from Sri Lanka. Noorul is a Toastmaster for over 17 years. She is a chartered electrical engineer, retired from professional career after 38 years of service. She has carried out a number of large projects, including a project focused on achieving 100% electrification project for Sri Lanka. Today, she will share her experience, how she handled, managed changes which are emotionally sensitive to stakeholders. Noorul's evaluator is Paramjit Singh. Paramjit Singh, may I please request you to read out the project objectives of Noorul's speech.
Is attempting our level 4 project 1 manage change. And the purpose statements are: the purpose of this project is for the members to practice developing a change management plan. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of a change management plan. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paramjit. Noorul is delivering her speech from Pathways Dynamic Leadership, Level 4, Project 1, Manage Change, with her speech title, EQ and EMC Makes Customer Happy, EQ and EMC makes customers happy. Over to you, Noorul.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Yes, dear friends, can you live without foods for more than 10 days? Yes, some of you can live without water, drinking without water for about 10 days. It's extremely difficult. Then how about living without electricity? Maybe outage for a second, for a minute, for a half an hour. Definitely, it is an extremely difficult task. Well, my dear friends, in the early part of 1990s, I was serving as electrical engineer, looking after the electricity network development. At that time, the electrification of entire Sri Lanka was somewhere around 40%. It means 60% of Sri Lankan population didn't have electricity. And when it comes to end of 1990, it is reduced to 40%. That means 40% of Sri Lanka didn't have electricity. My dear friends, I was looking after the expansion of an improvement of the network of electricity in Sri Lanka. My colleague who was serving as commercial engineer was looking after the electricity expansion network of Sri Lanka. My dear friends, we know that when we are hungry, when anyone provides food, then we look them as a god, a person that we look after. It is the same thing with the people who are longing to get electricity, look after people who promise that they will provide electricity. But can you imagine their emotions when they are promised unserved? That was the situation happening at that time when we were in the office. All of a sudden, my colleague who was handling the expansion of network fallen sick, and he had to leave out of office for a good time of that period, and I had to shoulder his work too, in addition to my work. Then, at the beginning, every day, I used to get people coming to my office, not in tens, but in hundreds. But everyone make a visit and they request electricity for their area, not for 1 or 2 houses, but mostly for more than 50 houses. And always a community leader or a parliament member or any other political leaders, they bring them to the office and they want us to serve the estimate so that they can give funds. This was going on for a week and two. I thought something wrong somewhere when I found the same set of people were brought by different leaders. Maybe it is a new thing in your countries, like Western countries and European countries, but in countries like in developing countries like us, Normally, political leaders take the people for a ride. So when I observed the customers are served with unserved promises, I felt it was very embarrassing. And also the customers are frustrated and they are every day they're coming to office and dealing with them again, frustrated the office people because we were unable to serve them. So everything, all the people, everything was, all the people were really affected by emotions, frustration, everything. So I thought there's something wrong in somewhere, and I wanted to look into the problem in detail. So this is where I did. I started to analyze the past record of the data which is available in the office. That means where I start. This is where I started. I took the record of how many requests that we have received to serve estimate. Because to serve the estimate, to serve the estimate, we must send the investigating officers to the field, and after the site inspection, they bring the investigation report, then the estimate is prepared and we sign it and give it to the person who requests the estimate. Only if they give us fund, we go and implement the project. That was the process. So I took the entire data and I started to analyze it. And I found we received 10 to 15 requests for a day, but we were able to serve only 2 to 3 estimates for a day. Can you imagine? We are receiving 10 to 15, whereas we were able to serve only 2 or 3. So there was a huge lot of requests kept in the office without serving. So you can imagine the status of the customers coming to the office repeatedly and the frustration of the officials that we are not in the position to serve the estimate due to different restrictions. And so the extension needs about 1 or 2 days. One day, in a day, we can investigate 2 or 3 investigations. But if we are to serve a scheme, like if you want to give electricity for about 100 people, the investigation takes about 2 to 3 days, because we have to find the location for transformers, line routes, etc., etc. And also we had limitation in transport availability, because we had 2 or 3 investigation officers and we had only 2 vehicles. So we have to put them on roster. So one officer cannot visit the sites every day. So these are some external restrictions that we had to restrict our ability in serving the estimate. And also I found, and also this made us not unable to serve the estimates. And also I found, for my surprise, when I listed the issued estimates against the funds that we have received only received funds for only 20% of the estimate what we have done. Can you imagine the crime that we were doing? Because we had all the restrictions. With that, we were doing all the investigations. And even after doing all the investigation, only 20% of the extension of schemes that we received funds. Then I thought that we should do something. And then I really went into details and found, because some stakeholders are very much interested in taking the estimate, but not providing the funds. But because of that, the customers are really frustrated. And the stakeholders, when we list out the stakeholders, the community leaders, the political leaders are there, and also the funding agencies. Normally they request us to give about 150, 200 estimates, but they provide funds only for the 50 or 60 extensions. Again, there is a cut. And also there are some government agencies, again, they too provide funds, and investigation officers too have their own priorities in selecting the schemes or extension where they are supposed to visit. But finally, who is the person who is suffering is the people who really need the electricity. Then what I did was I just sat along with my colleagues. Then we had a brainstorming session with them, and we analyzed the current progress and the process. Because process too is very important. And we studied the current process and the current progress. Then we did the data analysis. Then what thought was, then we had the brainstorming session with colleagues. After detailed data analysis, we really drew up a plan. Because as at that time, once we receive the request, we pass on to the investigation officer. Investigation officer select his priority and go to the field and bring the estimates to the office. It's a long time process, and sometimes it takes a very, very long time process. So we thought of changing this system, and we designed a simple format. Without sending our investigation officer, we really prepared a format where the customers or community leaders, if they wanted to give the supply, they should provide all the geographical data along with the technical data, what we really require to prepare the estimate. Because for that only our investigation officers visit to the field. Here we didn't want to involve the investigation officers, but we requested the people to bring the technical data, and we gave them a sample, a simple sample giving the technical data. Say, for example, if we say 3-phase line, I don't think none of that will go into their brain. So we thought if there are 4 wires, take it as 3-phase. If there are 3 wires, take it as 2-phase. So that is how we really gave them a simple format. Then we asked them to get the endorsement after filling the form, get the endorsement from the person who requests estimate that he will be giving the fund. And also we asked them to go to the government agencies which disburse funds to put the endorsement so that we know that we will be getting funds from the government agencies. With the endorsement, when the endorsement came, after they bring the estimate, we thought of issuing the estimate immediately on the spot. So on the spot, giving the estimate without giving it to the investigation officer. After getting the funds only, we requested investigation officers to go to the field. So the next step was we planned and we designed. Then we had to present it to the stakeholders. So my boss and my organization, because I can't take a decision. But anyway, I took the bold decision. But then then of course, we had to inform all the stakeholders about this process. But we know that most of the stakeholders were not happy, especially the community leaders and political leaders, because they take the customers for a ride and they really take votes from them by saying that they will provide electricity. So we had to convince them, but it really made us, it was a task for us to convince them this process will expedite and will be bringing more positive towards them. Then we thought, then we presented the reports, then we informed all the customers about, then we informed all the stakeholders, then we started to implement the project. So it was a task and we were able to do it. And here the communication part was very, very vital, because we had to handle all the government agencies, funding agencies, along with the communities would do really made everyone was, we had the
I think there's some internet connection problem. Do we wait for her to join back?
I am here, just one.
Yes,
Okay,
just carry
okay,
on, Noorul.
Okay.
So what we did was we created a change revised format and asked them to bring the rough sketch, and we gave them the rough estimate, and the endorsement of authorities were taken in the format, and we really served the estimate on the spot. Of course, it took some time to clear backlog from the office, but whatever we received from the day that we announced, we were able to disperse all the estimates on time. I still remember when I went for a meeting called by one of the government officials with all the departmental heads, and when they asked, they were talking to different agencies, and when they came to the name of CEB, some of the political leaders said, well, CEB, we can give them the request, but I think we have to wait for 6 months or 1 year to get the certificate. I got up and I said, I came to this meeting at 10 o'clock. And up until 10 o'clock, I served each and every estimate, even the request which came through the fax I attended. If anyone not received yet, please ping me immediately. And I sat down. So it was a total shock for the entire team. So that was the outcome finally I ended up with. And finally, the investigation officers were sent out only after we received funds for the project. So, my dear friends, finally that we were able to cut through we were able to cut down the resources because we were wasting our manpower resources and the vehicle and unhappy customers, etc., etc. Finally, at the end, we were successful in getting through these changes, but it was not easy task because the emotional feeling of the stakeholders, changing the emotional, with really talking to the emotionally affected political leaders is not an easy thing. Addressing them not easy thing, but by doing it and showing them the final outcome, we were able to manage it. Finally, investigated estimate and estimate and the firm sketch transformed as rough estimate and rough sketch. And we were left with any request in the office. Or
Thank you so very much, Noorul. That was really interesting to hear about your journey and how you brought power or electricity to the people who needed it. Thank you. On that note, we're going to go forward with our first speaker. Excuse me. And before we start, I'd like to give a disclaimer because I would like everybody to excuse me if I do not pronounce your names correctly. I'll beg your pardon before we start. Our first speaker today is Lokesh Verma. He is here to share his experience as a coach and what could be the impact of coaching and his interest or expertise on the subject. He provides coaching to his teams and at the same time, learning through this amazing journey. Lokesh will be evaluated by Leah Musinga. Leah, please read out the project objectives of Lokesh's speech.
Good day, everyone. And the speech objectives of Lokesh's speech is for the member to develop and apply the skills of coaching a fellow member or a person outside of Toastmasters who can benefit from his experience. So I look forward to hearing the speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so very much, Leah. Please read 1 minute. I beg your pardon. All right. So Lokesh is delivering his speech from Pathways, Effective Coaching, Level 4, Project 1. Improvement through positive coaching. I would like to welcome Yogesh to the virtual platform. Over to you, Yogesh. Lokesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Jennifer. I hope my screen is visible and I am audible.
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Thank you. You must be wondering, what is it I'm showing on the screen? Yes, this is a fly trying hard enough on a windowsill to reach out its goal on the other side of window, to reach in the open air. This small creature is struggling on the glass, putting its best effort, but end up with only demotivation and draining of energy. Still, it is not giving up. This small creature, this fly, is trying its level best, its own proven old strategy to try even harder, but still it is not helping. This fly is trying to go out or through this windowsill, try to unlock this window, but cannot see the open door just next to it, which can be easily, this fly can fly in a few seconds to reach this open door. With a fraction of energy it is putting on this windowsill, which cannot be unlocked. Similarly, we might also face certain situations in our life, in our day-to-day job, in a business, and a personal life, where we feel drained, where we feel low in enthusiasm, and we end up like this fly on a windowsill. When we experience such situation, in our professional life, in a business, we feel, we feel demotivated, we feel disengaged, and sometimes we start doing things, procrastinate. We started doing. What all happen is we lose our direction, and we need some guidance, some support, some feedback, so that we remain on our track. The bad news is that we cannot save the fly by coaching. But the good news is that we can coach humans. What is coaching? Coaching is unlocking a person's potential to maximize their own performance. It is helping them to learn rather than teaching them. So friends, let me share my own coaching experience with all of you. I am into a pharmaceutical sales from last 13, 14 years. And in my whole journey of my professional life, I have gone through a lot of up and down. I faced a lot of rejections, lot of success. In every rejection, in every demotivation, I found an opportunity. And every time, with the support of coaching through experienced coaches, or my manager, or the other training I got from the organization, I overcome all those challenges. In my current role of a people manager, one of my team members, Damodar, was facing a similar kind of challenge where he was feeling low in energy, feel of rejected, and low in enthusiasm. By the way, Damodar is very good in the communication, and he's a sales professional where he has to meet his customers at least twice in a month to convert those deals on a pharmaceutical products. What happened is he's very good at communicating a brand messages, demanding a business from customer, but he was losing out on a certain skills which is required to crack those deals. But he was keep trying harder and harder, just like a fly on a windowsill, by keep sharing brand messages with his customers and missing out some important element in cracking those deals. I, as a manager, supposed to work with him to observe what he's doing good and what can he do better. And we understood and analyzed that he's missing out on two important skills while dealing with his customers. One is the customer engagement, and second is the probing skills. And we set up an trusting environment, an agenda for next few months to work upon. And I gave him a lot of practice, a lot of feedback and role plays. With the help of that, he was able to crack through his customers. Now he is very much confident while talking to his customer. Now, instead of directly pitching with his customer on a brand messages, he engage his customers now and make a comfortable environment to ask certain probing particular questions, open-ended questions, which make him comfortable and his customers also comfortable. And now he started getting some important insights, what is the need of his customers. And I told you he's a very good in terms of brand messages. Now, once he understood the need of his customer, he started customizing his communication and he presented his product as a solution. In a few months, he became a performer within the team, and this all happened through the process of coaching. I, as a coach, find a really worthful experience to add some value to my coachee, in this case, my team member. But what happened in your life when you face certain situations? What can be done in those situations? and how you can identify whether you really need coaching or not. Let me share 5 signs where you can identify whether you really need coaching or not. Sometimes if you feel being held back by self-limiting belief, you are lacking direction and purpose in your life. Or sometimes if you have a feeling of being stagnant or stuck, or if you feel out of comfort zone, or might be you start procrastinating things and don't follow through. Believe me, friends, everybody has their up and down in their personal and professional life. But coach can help us to get through all those obstacles by understanding and helping us to understand those obstacles, to guiding us through the proper regular coaching session and the feedback session to understand what are those limiting factors. You might be starting few things, but end up giving up on those tasks in between. You might be procrastinating. Friends, coaching can help. To end up my speech, let me share a quote which goes like, a good coach can change a game, whereas a great coach can change a life. So find a great coach to unlock your true potential. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so very much, Lokesh, for an enlightening speech. I just love the way you shared your journey of coaching with us today. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Let's move forward. Our second speaker today is the versatile Vivian Robinson. Vivian is inspired to develop and create new ideas by observing people and situations. Toastmaster, she says, provides excellent opportunity for both. It also shows her to study and develop new ideas based on actions and reactions to what is happening around her. Vivian is a volunteer at Atlanta Food Bank and would like to introduce you to some of the people who volunteered to do this very important work. Today, Vivian will be evaluated by Karine Baptist. Please state the project objectives. Karine, are you there?
Yes. Thank you, Jennifer.
You're
This is my
welcome.
pleasure, dear members, fellow Toastmaster, and welcome guests, to evaluate Vivian Robinson. Vivian is a great speaker. Her pathway is dedicated to visionary communication, level 1, 5. This is our second feedback, and she needs to present either a new speech or another topic, and she had received other feedback, and she needs to practice these feedbacks in her speech. Her speech title, Atlanta Food Bank Volunteers, Vivian Robinson, Atlanta Food Bank Volunteers.
Thank you so much, Karine. Vivian is working on her visionary communication path, Project 5, Evaluation and Feedback. Her speech title is Atlanta Food Bank Volunteers. Over to you, Vivian.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, volunteers at the food bank are from one extreme to another extreme. Some are high energy, some are kind of laid back, and some are not sure. Fellow Toastmasters, we have volunteers from all over. We have families who volunteer as a family project, and we have people from the community who volunteer because they are consistent, and those are the volunteers that we depend on. Along with that, some corporations send volunteers. Home Depot always sends volunteers. Chick-fil-A, Coca-Cola sends volunteers and sponsors. And the good part about these volunteers that corporations send is that when the corporation sends volunteers, they always send something for the people who are there who do the volunteering. There's either Coca-Cola, there's Chick-fil-A, there's cookies. There's always something for the volunteers. Fellow Toastmasters, there are a couple of volunteers who really stand out. And I'm going to introduce you to two of those volunteers. One of the volunteers who stands out is Miss Lucy. Miss Lucy volunteers on a consistent, regular basis. And let me describe Miss Lucy to you so that you will know what a special person she is. Miss Lucy has red spiked hair. It looks like it's going in 10 different directions, and it's a bright red. Miss Lucy arrives with normally a pink rouge and a dark colored lipstick, either a brown or a dark black, every week when she reports to volunteer. Her group is responsible for the packaging of fresh vegetables. Miss Lucy is very bubbly. She's very high energy. And when she arrives to everyone, this is what she says: "Hey, honey, hey, honey." And if people don't respond, she goes, "Honey, hey, honey." And then, of course, people are on high alert and they do respond to her. Very interesting personality, very warm person, very giving person, and high energy, very high energy. Another person that volunteers consistently on a regular basis is Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is a retired military officer, and he comes to the food bank on a regular basis to volunteer. His ramrod stands up and he directs all of our customers through the drive-through circle. He does this with excellence and with finesse, and he always pays close attention to the flow as everything starts to come in and come around. When Mr. Charlie arrives into the food bank, this is how he greets everyone. That's his way of saying, "I see you, and I hope that you see me." Another energy person, but an energy of a different type. His energy is a little bit lower. His energy is not all the way up here. His energy, and he demands your attention immediately. As soon as he walks in, his whole demeanor demands your attention. There is another group that arrives at the center also, and that group are sometimes teenagers and very young people who are no more than 20. And fellow Toastmasters and guests, when they come, they bring so much energy, so much attention, so much inclusiveness, so much of reaching out, because they're going to people, and as they recognize people, they say, "Sir, ma'am, what's up? Who is that?" And they use their terminology as they interact with the younger people. And then to the people there who are retired and people there who are a little older, they say, "Ma'am" and "Sir." And it's never full sentences when they address people. It's always in an adjective form. "What's up? What you doing? What's that? Who's this?" Those kinds of interactions. But again, these are teenagers from a different generation, and they're younger people. And fellow Toastmasters, when they arrive, they come in their groups, and the first thing they do is they adjust the music. And from that, I have learned a new kind of music. And I've heard from artists that I did not know. These artists have lyrics that go, "You're enough. You can do this. You're successful. You're good at that. Continue on. I encourage you. Keep running." And as I listen to these lyrics and the words that these young people are saying, I'm internalizing how positive the message is. And also, I had to go and do a little research to see who the artists are. I've not heard of Emmanuel. I've not heard of Megan Thee Stallion. I've not heard of Lizzo, because that's a different generation of music than I'm accustomed to. But as I listened to their lyrics, as I did a little research on them, and I realized how positive the reinforcement is for young people, I thought then that these are people that I'd like to hear. And I'm going to delve in and do a little more hearing and listening for them. And fellow Toastmasters, I'll leave you with this. Have you volunteered? If so, when was the last time that you volunteered to serve? And as you serve, did you serve with passion and conviction as you serve doing whatever it is that you do? If you have not, I would encourage you, find a local agency that needs volunteers. Volunteer, give of yourself. Believe me, volunteering to serve other people does more for you than it does for the people that you serve. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so very, very much. That was a soul-enriching speech. It just took me back to my CSR days, corporate social responsibilities in TCS, because I served there for nearly 2 years, and I can relate deeply with this speech of yours. Thank you so very much. Today, our third speaker is the very happy, hilarious, hardworking Hannah Schmidt. EIOEQ to Hannah is to acquire effective verbal communication and practice active listening skills. Hannah will be evaluated by Barbara Jarvis. Barbara, may I request you to specify the project objectives for Hannah?
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good night, everyone. Hannah Schmidt, she'll be doing her level 5 presentation in the Mastery P6, leading in a volunteer organization. Her title of a speech would be To Be or Not to Be a Leader. Let's welcome Hannah Schmidt. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so very much, Barbara. Hannah's speech today is about leading in a volunteer organization and what she has achieved in her favorite role as the Vice President membership for several clubs. Her speech is from Pathways, Presentation Mastery, Level 5, Project 6. Speech title, To Be or Not to Be the Leader. To be or not to be the leader. Welcome, Hannah, to the virtual stage.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Reaching my penultimate project in my path, Presentation Mastery, leading in your volunteer organization. I was challenged in choosing my volunteer organization. Click, click. I have been serving in this organization for the past umpteen years. Yes, Toastmasters is a volunteer organization. Madam Toastmaster, joining Toastmasters way back, I had actually joined them to improve my communication skills. I concentrated on the then competent communicator, CC, not paying much attention to the competent leadership book, which guides me through listening skills, planning and implementation, mentoring, team building. Some of the roles are necessary to become an exemplary leader. After delivering a few speeches and watching the role players, I soon realized that my journey in Toastmasters would come to a dead end, stagnate, should I not readjust and be that visionary leader required to take my home club to the next level, President's Distinguished, a position we hold for the past 10 consecutive years. Reassessing myself, I joined the executive committee as a secretary, vice president, education treasurer, and my favorite role, vice president membership. Here, I built a strong rapport with and mutual trust with other members, visitors, guests. With great respect, I reached out to them and brought them into the Tarantine Toastmasters fraternity. It is imperative for me as VPM to follow up on the visitors, guests who have signed the guest book, and that within 24 hours. Once they've joined a club, I assign a mentor to them, or a mentor gets assigned to them for the first 3 projects, and longer if mentor and mentee agree to continue. My then area director recognized my potential as a leader, and I was appointed club coach for a struggling club. Under my leadership and guidance, that club received distinguished by that end of that year, June. Climbing the ladder of success, I was appointed area director for my district here in Namibia, and also that area received distinguished status. The ultimate goal was for me to climb the ladder of success, to obtain my DTM, my Distinguished Toastmasters, and to affirm that my way up the Toastmasters ladder would inspire, motivate other members to reach their goals as well, to elevate them to the ranks of leaders. The new executive, after election, meets at a retreat where all members are motivated and encouraged to achieve a high level of commitment and to engage in their leadership roles. Team building is encouraged and installed. Most importantly of all, mutual trust is promoted. In this volunteer organization, loyalty is fundamental to success, which is achieved by providing the members with a strong and well-defined vision, integrity, respect, service, excellence. With a high level of collaboration, I assist my members in my home club to reach to the top. I praise them personally for presenting the speeches and fulfilling the roles assigned to them. To train my successor for the roles is of high importance to me, and to achieve to become the leader in this amazing organization called Toastmasters, and of course, Tarantile Toastmasters, my home club. With planning and implementation and team collaboration, Tarantile Toastmasters celebrated the 20th and the 25th birthday. In 2021, I was assigned as a VPN for an online club. Reaching out to members here is a different challenge, but yet with innovation and a vision, I have overcome that hurdle and acquired the skill to reach out to the members via Zoom or the WhatsApp, inspiring them to attend the meetings, present their roles, or present their speeches, and take up the roles in the club. Toastmasters, a great visionary leader, does not hang on to the baton, but passes it on to their successor. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for that very wonderful speech. It's always a pleasure hearing you, Hannah. And my takeaway is the follow-up you have done in 24 hours and then allotting their mentors. That is really, really remarkable. Thank you for that speech. Our fourth speaker is none other than the very charming and our district winner, Nikhita Winkler. She is a dancer and a movement coach who has worked with women since 2017. She was awarded the Confident Woman recipient in 2019 for the upliftment of women in arts in Namibia. Her experiences as a woman have sparked passionate interest to help empower other women. Nikhita will be evaluated today by Tony Sackett, I would request Tony to please share the project objectives of Nikhita's speech. Over to you, Tony.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, especially Nikhita. Nikhita's presentation is from the Innovative Planning Pathways, Level 5. And it's based on the High Performance Leadership, HPL, as it's known. And for those who don't know, the High Performance Leadership Project used to be mandatory in the old legacy era to obtain a DTM. And it's still available in 3 different pathways. I have found this to be the most important project in my Toastmaster career. So I'm thrilled that Nikhita will be tackling this project. Her purpose is for Nikhita, for this speech, is to present her plans. She's not done the project yet. So she's presenting the outlines and how she's planning it, how she set her team up. And what a phenomenal objective for this project. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Tony. Nikhita is delivering her first HPL project, which is about developing experiences and fostering relationships within wellness and spiritual communities to lead women retreats around the world. Superb. I now invite our speaker, Nikhita, to our virtual platform to give her speech. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am extremely excited to finally be doing my HPL. It's been waiting since 2000 and when I started being a Toastmaster. And so I would like to present this project to you, first of all, by drawing your attention to how a tree grows. Because I love to develop projects by looking at the growth of a tree. If you are not muted, please do mute yourself. Thank you very much. And so basically a tree needs really deep roots to be able to withstand the storms of everyday life, right? And as those roots grow deeper, they go lateral and they start to connect with other trees. They start to communicate with other trees. Now, at the root of my project, there is me with all my potential, which I can unfortunately not reach by myself. For me to be able to reach and tap into that potential, I need the communication, the connection, the help of other trees. So in this project, who are those other trees? First of all, those are my mentors, my coaches, my therapists. Yes, because this project is deeply rooted in therapy. So I too, as a leader, need therapy. Currently, my team exists of 3 members, but those are not all the members because I will develop another team in Namibia. So those 3 members are there to feed me at the root level so that I can overcome all the challenges I will be experiencing, so that I can tap into my potential, so that I can let go of the limiting beliefs, because these are the things in our projects that stop us, that block us from taking the next level and shooting up. So at this point, actually, I have started the project. The vision of the project was in 2001, but I started working on the project a year ago. First of all, what is my purpose? Let's get there. Let's start here. It's to create transformational impact in the lives of women and to develop a work of art that is for women and by women. Yes. So what is that work of art? In 2021, I created my first solo, international solo, and the process of creating that solo was transformational. Yes, so by the end of that solo, I needed to share that journey with other female artists. And I envisioned doing that solo, but not as a solo, as an ensemble of women, of 10, 20 women who come from all around the world. And that was the first spark that I had. The second spark was, oh, I really need to find a way to continue going back to Namibia. How am I going to do that? And wow, I have a wide international network of people who want to travel to Namibia. So should I start tours? I thought, yes, of course, why not? But tours is not really rooted in my purpose. So how am I going to root this idea in my purpose? So from those roots, the next stage is these separate ideas merging into one, which is taking this project of the art of empowering female artists to tap into their authenticity, and then taking this touring project and then merging them into a retreat for women. Now, I said I started a year ago. A year ago, I found a perfect profile, a female artist called Merce Verga, who is from Tarragona. She was a perfect fit, like a glove, for this project. I needed a woman who was ready, a female artist who was ready to explore their own vocabulary and to step outside of the conditioning that we have as artists. For a year, I've been working with Merce to explore what my methodology is. And so our first milestone that we reached was a performance. We performed our first duet in April of this year. The next milestone of this project will be tomorrow. All right, what's going to happen tomorrow? Tomorrow, I will continue working with Merce on this project, but this time I am helping her to develop her techniques, to package her technique, to bring her Oriental dance and her voice, because she's a singer too, and merge them and package it as a workshop for women. So tomorrow we will have our first workshop together. Then the next milestone would be end of July. End of July, I'm going to collaborate with two other female artists, of which one is going to lead a cacao ceremony and the other a womb wellness and vaginal cleansing workshop. And I, of course, will be doing the movement component of the retreat. This will be a day retreat. So we are going from tomorrow, which is 3 hours, to the 30th of July, which will be 8 hours, to continuing these retreats, these 1 day, 3 hour and 8 hour retreats until next year. Next year, August, I will travel my first retreat to Namibia. We call it Project Namibia, and I hope that you are excited because yes, you are invited to this project. What am I going to do? Well, this is the completion of my HPL. It means I'm going to bring people from here, from where you are. We're all going to join in Namibia. We're going to have a 5-day retreat. And then I'm going to have a 1-month workshop with local Namibian artists, female artists, again, who match my requirements, to empower these artists to create solo autobiographical pieces, and then to bring all those different journeys of our womanhood into one ensemble, into one performance. I am so excited, and I want to leave you with this, finally, that this just is what my work is really about. It's not about rescuing women, because women are not powerless. It is not about broken women, because women, they are full, they are whole. It's about walking with women, walking with them through their darkness so that they remember their light. And thank you very much. I hope that you are excited about Project Namibia, and you know where to find me. Reach out and let's heal. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you, Nikhita, for this very inspiring and intriguing speech. I will definitely be there at your Namibia workshop. Our fifth and final speaker is none other than my friend Mrinal Kanti Ghosh. He will be speaking about his struggles during his childhood. Let me repeat that. And the learnings he has achieved through these hardships and challenges to become a better version of himself. His experiences of his business acumen and team building skills have helped him discover the changes he seeks. Mrinal will be evaluated by none other than Angela Brown. Angela, may I please request you to read out the project objectives?
The purpose of the speech is for this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Angela. Mrinal, the virtual platform is yours. Take it away.
Do you all know what is the value of $100? 100 rupees note this is. Yes, you all are right. If you convert it into US dollar, it's just $1.2. Just $1.2. In the year 1995, 7th May, our family saving was just $1.2. On that day, we are celebrating the birthday of Rabindranath Tagore, the great poet, author, composer, whatnot. And what we did on that day, I sold my old book for my livelihood for a few days. On that day, I cried a lot. Even my mom also cried a lot. I never forget that crappy day of my life till my lifelong. My father working in a small factory where 6 months is closed and rest working days only 6 months in a year. So you can all imagine nowadays, if you are not get a month's salary not in the right time, what happened with all of you all? I think that party all ever those who earn salary. So that kind of challenges I face a lot. During childhood, we spent a time one rented house, just a small room, and I spent almost 15 years of my time of my initial phase. It's very challenging. I never forget that crappy moments of my life. This has happened still 2007. We struggle a lot, almost my career of more than 20 years in my initial phase. I struggle a lot. But one thing I believe, one thing I conquered, that if you dream big from your childhood, no one can stop you. You can achieve whatever you dream you have. That's true. My dear friends, that's true. I'll come to that point. But tell me, why actually I'm talking about all these things. One wise man told when I'm small that one day, Mrinal, you will conquer the world. One day I'll conquer the world, but how? I don't have answer that time. But trust me, friends, then I wake back in the year 2005. Finally, I have decided I'll study for MBA. You know what happened? When I talk about my friends and my neighbor about I will do my MBA, what happened? All are laughing at me. You do MBA? How can it possible? But trust me, I focus on my goal that I need to achieve my dream. I have to complete my MBA. I don't have money, but I don't know. If you follow the right path, nobody can stop you. That's my belief. That's why now I'm coming to my second facet of my life. that started in the year 2005. First time I traveled outside my home state with lots of dreams. I have completed MBA in the year 2007. I thought, now I'll conquer the world. Nobody can stop me. But trust me, friend, I thought that having a good salary, a good office, and also a nice assistant. But trust me, friends, real world is so much different than the imaginary world. Initial days of my life, I walked almost 10 kilometers per day with a carrying of 8 kg to 10 kg bags and the temperature of 42 degrees centigrade. After walking on 2 months, I was totally bedridden for 1 month. And what I did during this 1 month, I struggled a lot. I think what I'm doing with my life, whether I'll be able to success in my life or not, but I don't know. But during that time, I read one book. Book name is Catalyst. How you want to catalyst in your life, each and every aspect that I learned during my bedridden. And I decide I'll never give up. Whatever happened in my life, I'll never give up. I'll conquer my life. Nobody can stop me. And that day I decided it's time to go forward. I focus my work. Whatever struggle life is there, I'm not worried about that. Just follow the right path. What I did, I just focus, working so hard that nobody can stop me. Next year, I got the Global Recognition Award for the company. Around 2,000 employees, only selected 20 people, and I am one of them. I represent a team for the strategy meet. At the age of 25, first time I have traveled through flights. My dreams come finally true. The first time I traveled by flight. That day, I cried a lot. That's some dreams fulfilled on that day. And that's the journey started, my dear friends. Next year, I got once again the best award. And then I'm totally addicted for my success. Whatever I'm doing, I'll be the one of the best performer for my team. That's happened continuous for the last 15 years. And during 15 years, I have traveled across the country, 12 different countries, and received a lot of world country-based recognition award in my lifespan. But till I'm not fulfilled my dream. My dream is big. Trust me, friends, if you have your big dream, you just chase your dreams. Nobody can stop you from your dream. I just urge you, everyone, please unmute yourself and say, I will conquer the world. Please, dear friends, unmute yourself and say, I will conquer the world. I will conquer the world.
I will conquer the world.
Conquer the world.
I will conquer the
World is
world.
I will
mine.
conquer the world.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mrinal.
Yes.
My God, that was a moving, personalized speech, and I really enjoyed it. Well, that completes the prepared speech section. Let's take a minute to vote for our best speaker today. Please vote for the best speaker using the pop-up ballot on your screen. If you're not able to access it, forward your ballots privately to our certificate arms using the chat interface at the bottom of your screen.
Is there one more speaker?
No, Mrinal was the last speaker.
Ashwini is still on the agenda that you haven't called.
Ashwini?
Yeah, speaker number 6.
I was just looking for because I'm thinking I have to evaluate Ashwini.
Oh, then it's my mistake. Give me a moment. Just give me a moment.
There she is.
All right, Ashwini is there. So if somebody can just tell me who is Ashwini's
it's Sandra.
evaluator.
I'm
It's Sandra.
evaluating.
My apologies. All right. All right. So our final speaker for today is none other than Ashwini Arodka. And she will be getting evaluated by Sandra. So I request Sandra to please read out the project objectives for Ashwini. Thank you.
Thank you. I thought maybe I'd missed something that she couldn't come. So I'm so happy you're here, Ashwini, and you had sent ahead your evaluation and your extra requests. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? So I'm glad we got that all caught up. Today, Ashwini is speaking from Dynamic Leadership Project 2, Level 2, Project 1, I guess is the way I'd have it, Understanding Your Leadership Style. And she is to share her own chosen leadership style or the leadership styles in general. She can choose either way, discuss the style preferences when working with others, and how to adapt the chosen leadership style to the situations, or leadership styles in general, how they impact a group. So in this, the way she summarized it was to identify her own style and her primary leadership styles, and how she is connecting with the audience, particularly through her expressions and delivery. And the title, I think you'll have that in your introduction, but the search is still on. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. And the search is still on. I'm going to be watching for that search. Over to you, Speaker Ashwini. Thank you.
MS Teams notification buzzed. The Pan-India sales team of platform solutions of my organization, I work for a software company, just to give a background, had joined a call on 22nd of January, 2023. Our senior vice president did make a momentous proclamation. Ms. Ashwini Aronkar shall be now taking over as a sales leader for West India for platform solutions, as our erstwhile sales leader is moving to United States to expand the international markets. The intense tone of our VP's word echoed in my ears. I realized by embracing this noble mantle, I knew I'm going to give away that liberty of cribbing lack of support from my leadership team, which I enjoyed being an individual sales performer. A revelation dawned upon me that I would soon be counted amidst the esteemed fold of leadership team. In an instant, my mind was cast into vivid tapestry of the future, wherein I envisioned myself as the illustrious helmswoman. But at the back of mind, I knew it was going to be a very tough journey. The next day, I arrived on time with a swag. Obviously, I had got promoted. Kept my bag aside and immediately started working on my sales report. Suddenly, I noticed the number of meetings of my teams conducted was not up to the mark. So the sales calls were dropping down. And can you believe, until yesterday, someone had 100 reasons ready for not making such sales calls, now ready to ask questions to the team about drop in the numbers. And I knew that it is going to impact the overall pipeline for that quarter. As a typical sales boss, I planned a stand-up morning call and started questioning my team in a very serious tone on their ability and capability to contribute. And you know what was the result? For the first month, the quarter was empty without having any contract. Can anyone tell me from the audience what was amiss here? Anyone, if you want to quickly share? It was the lack of emotional quotient. This was the year of learning leadership lessons from the failures I was facing. What I discovered then as a leader, that I should have adopted a strategy by which I could have turned around the difficult situation. And the fact of the matter is, and which is across globe, across typical sales organization, in majority, all the sales organizations struggle with this. they have bosses instead of being leaders. In my initial days in a leadership role, I should have adopted a transformational leadership style which inspires the team by narrating success stories of turning around complex situations, complex deals, and should have motivated the team to unleash their hidden potential and achieve exceptional success to become a top performer. Instead of organizing just such stand-up calls, this style would have helped me for setting up compelling vision and developing a potential to the team member. Well, I adopted this leadership style to motivate my new incoming team members and contribute to the team goals. As the days passed by, most of the months, we had situations where we reached a stage of commercial negotiations and competition was trying to put us down with their pricing strategy. We all aimed to turn around these things because the first quarter was really horrible. In this situation, I organized again a series of stand-up calls, but to seek team's inputs on how we crack the competition. The team came up with creative ideas, suggestions, which we could easily embed in our existing quoted price and showcase the value that we're going to bring to the table. Their feedbacks, their inputs made me believe that, yes, we can turn around the year. This was the democratic leadership style, which came to me naturally after the lessons I learned from being a first-time leader. Our pipeline grew, and thus we started signing deals over deals every quarter. The correct blend of different leadership style depends on various factors, such as nature of the team, the specific goals, and the challenges at hand. I want to give a message to all our leaders over here. Adopting different leadership styles and blending with the natural style of leadership can create sense of ownership and participation while still providing a clear direction and accountability. I'm still blending these different leadership styles and discovering more. The search is still on. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Ashwini. What a fantastic, powerful speech that was. And I do apologize to you and to Sandra for that mess up. Well, let's get on with the voting, dear fellows. Please vote for the best speaker using the pop-up ballot on your screen. If you are not able to access it, forward your ballot to our Sergeant at Arms. Thank you. All right. Do we have all the ballots? Do I continue, Brahm, or do I wait for the results?
Continue. Don't
Thank
wait for
you.
the results. Just
All right.
introduce the G.
Yes, I'll just do a little bit more on emotional intelligence. So that as there are no breaks in this journey, so let's continue en route to our destination, right? And did you know that emotional intelligence has a set of primary and secondary emotions? Well, research does say that primary emotions are the first emotions that are felt when something happens. Imagine, supposing you win a lottery, your primary emotion is to feel extreme joy. Or if you receive bad news, you may feel extremely sad. The secondary emotion, for example, are emotions that are often felt after the primary emotion has been experienced. For instance, after feeling the primary emotion of anger, you may feel the secondary emotion of shame thereafter. Instead of joy, you may feel relief Oh, pride. Isn't this food for thought? Well, on that note, let's get back to the most awaited. All right, so the results are in. That's great. We seem to have a very, very close win here. Thank you for the results. It will be announced later by Mr. President. And we continue into our most awaited segment, which is the general evaluation segment. I would really like to warmly welcome our general evaluator, Dr. Aswathi Rajan, who is a former scientist, edupreneur, and a passionate educator. She trains students and teachers in soft skills and teaching methodologies. She is the author of 2 books. In Toastmaster, she has been there for nearly 3 years and has completed 2 paths and the Pathways Mentorship Program. She is currently working on her DTM project, and presently she's serving as Area Director for District 120. Ashwati, please introduce your role and take us through this soul-searching segment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. And thank you for that warm welcome. Hello, everyone. I am the General Evaluator for today's meeting. And as you all know, my role is to evaluate the whole meeting, what happened today in the meeting and what could have happened in the meeting. So I have a team with me, a team of self-directed leaders who are going to evaluate the speakers. So let me call the first evaluator, Toastmaster Paramjeet Singh, who's going to evaluate the speech given by DTM Noorul Munwwara, the leadership speaker of the day. Toastmaster Paramjeet Singh works as Design and Development Manager in Sharjah. He's a Toastmaster for 3 years, President of Debatable Toastmasters Club, and he's also winner of Best of the division level in International and Humorous Speech Contest. And he says that emotional intelligence is a must for every leader, so that the leader can understand the emotional needs of the people working with him and not consider them as machines or achieve holistic results. So please welcome Toastmaster Paramjeet Singh.
Thank you very much. Alan Watts said, the only way to make sense out of a change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance.
Paramjeet, we can't hear you.
I'm audible now?
Wonderful,
Perfect.
yes.
Yes. Alan Watts said, the only way to make sense out of a change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. That is what Toastmaster Noorul did. It's a really Herculean task to attempt a change, and that too in a government organization where a lot of political compulsions, red tape bureaucracy, as well as they don't allow to make changes in a very easy way in the third world countries. But Noorul's passion to serve the people by providing a basic need of every human being, electricity, in such a difficult situation is really commendable. And she, along with her team, simplified the whole procedure by changing the process in a way that saves time and resources of the people and the fundraisers. The things I like about her speech is her start with a question, really asking people about is hunger or electricity. For some people it's same, and kept us engaged with her personal story and experience of a big change, and we were looking forward for every moment where the change occurred. She delivered the speech with a very strong voice, clear words, and a very wide smile, good vocal variety, and stressing upon different words to send her message across to us at a different situation. The thing she could have done better is to share with us that how the change helped and how much percentage of her project contributed to the overall country or district percentage of the electricity as she defined in the beginning. She was continuously speaking on the subject, and there was not there could have been more pauses in between so that the audience could understand and digest the whole already shared information. This the slides she was using were having a lot of matters already available on this, which could have been avoided, so that it doesn't, we know what is coming next. Now we are knowing what is coming next, and we are already understanding the story. It would really better that if they come as you speak about it, and about your position in the camera. You are very, very low in the camera. If you could have just made it a little up, your hand gestures could have added to the what you were saying. Overall, you met the purpose of the speech, manage change, and adding the above said points will help you to do a long educational speeches. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Paramjit Singh, for that wonderful evaluation. I just love the way you started the evaluation with that beautiful quote. And it was really nice to see you commenting on the emotional stand of the speaker while handling the situation, which you reflected from the speech. So that was wonderful and great suggestions. You commented on the camera position, the presentation. So it was altogether a complete evaluation. Thank you so much. So next we have evaluation for the speaker number 1, Lokesh Verma. And his evaluator is Toastmaster Leah Musunga. Toastmaster Leah Musunga is a Toastmaster enthusiast who's previously served as VPPR and VPE of Gaborone Toastmasters Club in Botswana. Emotional intelligence, according to her, is learning the skills of listening more than speaking, so one can better understand the other person. She is also an avid reader and has read around 85 books in 2023 so far. So with that, please welcome Toastmaster Leah Musunga to evaluate Toastmaster Lokesh Verma's speech.
Thank you so much for that, Madam General Evaluator. I had the privilege today of evaluating Lokesh as he was presenting his speech. So I'm just going to share with you, Lokesh, just a few things that I picked up. So in terms of what I noticed, what you did well, I like the fact that when you started your speech, you had that visual representation with the fly on the window. I was actually really excited. I'm like, wow, where is the speech going? And then you went on and you showed us the open door. So I could see that there was some sort of analogy that was being used as you were presenting your speech. And I was actually very intrigued to see how it would all tie in with your speech. And I liked the fact that then from then on, you went on and just explained to us what is coaching so that we could also better understand the topic that you were speaking on. And then you segued into giving us a personal story. So that was really nice because that really helped to tie in your speech, especially with the personal story of how you helped to coach someone else. And you ended your speech with sort of like a call to order by giving us the 5 signs that you need a coach. So that's something for us to remain to think about and think, okay, do I need a coach? And giving us those 5 signs was actually another great way of just ensuring that we continue to think about the topic you were presenting today. So in terms of what I thought you might want to work on, there was one part where you spoke for an extended period and there was still a slide on the screen. So it would have been great if maybe you could have stopped sharing just so that we could see you as you were presenting, because you spoke for quite an extended period and yet the slide was still there. Then another thing that I just also thought you might want to work on is just you spoke like on a one level. So maybe just try and incorporate maybe some vocal variety in your speech. And then in terms of what you might want to just challenge yourself, I noticed obviously because you were using slides to do your presentation, we didn't really see any gestures from you. So maybe in your next speech, just as a way of challenging yourself, just try and incorporate some gestures in your speech just to help to elevate your speech into a higher level. Other than that, well done in the presentation on your speech today. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Leah Musunga, for that very positive feedback. And what I love in your evaluation is that you actually reiterated the purpose of the speech by Toastmaster Lokesh, that how a coach can make a difference in your life. So thank you for doing that. And next, let's move on to our next evaluator. Evaluator Karen Baptiste, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Vivian Robinson's speech. Karen lives in France, near Paris. She's a member of 2 English clubs, and one is, of course, Leadership Speak. And wonderful hobby which she shared with me today is she loves practicing Indian dance forms, Bollywood, Bhangra, and many other different forms. So that's her passion and hobby. So please welcome Toastmaster Karen Baptiste to evaluate Toastmaster Vivian's speech.
Thank you very much, Ashwati, for this great introduction. I would like to thank you, our great speaker, Vivian. This is a great pleasure to evaluate your speech. Thank you for your energy to deliver your passion in volunteership. I will share with you 3 positive aspects, then 2 recommendations, and 1 challenge for you, Vivian. I really appreciate all tools you have used to connect with your audience. The first one is your gesture. I saw a lot of gestures in your speech, especially at the beginning of your speech, when you move in front of your camera to connect further your audience, and after that, you step back. And your audience can follow you, your message, your key message, your passion of this story. You are perfectly use your space, especially when you speak of your 2 characters, Lucy and Charles, and you are at left and after that at right. And these movements also can give also further connection with your audience. A third tool, a powerful tool, the voice. When you deliver speech, it is better to focus on this tool, the voice. And you have used several dialogues on the beginning, middle, and at the end of your speech. You have used the modulation, the space, when you, I remember when you ask questions, who's that, where's that? And our questions can create an interactivity, a connection with us. I'm not native English, but I follow with passion your story. I would like to share with you 2 recommendations. To share the positive aspect of the volunteership, the benefits. But I would like to know about your volunteership in other associations, for example, Toastmaster. What are the benefits you have brought in, you have learned? Because Toastmaster is an association. You have, I think, participated in further events or XCOM or contest club, I don't know. But I would like to share for the next time the benefits you have learned. And the last challenge I would like to share with you is storytelling, because the story is a powerful tool to connect further in your story. So to sum up, good speech, very structured, good topic, 2 recommendations, your own experience on volunteership, and for the next recommendation to create a storytelling in this topic. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kareem, for that wonderful evaluation. I just loved that you were standing throughout and you were delivering your evaluation. Really appreciate that. And you not only gave recommendations, but actually you showed the better way to do. You moved around, you showed the hand gestures. So that was really wonderful. And at the end, you neatly summed up the whole evaluation. So that was really great. Thank you so much. So now moving on to our next evaluator, Barbara Jarvis. She's going to evaluate distinguished Toastmaster Hannah's speech. Barbara Jarvis joined Black Pineapple Toastmasters Club in 2021 and served as Vice President of Membership and was awarded the Toastmaster of the Year. In 2022, she became the club president and have led her club to achieve President Distinguished by achieving 9 on 10 goals. She is looking forward to continue her growth and become a professional leader and helping others reach their goals. So Barbara Jarvis, you are at a perfect place at Leadership Speak. With that, please help me welcome Toastmaster Barbara to evaluate distinguished Toastmaster Hannah's speech.
Looks like Barbara Jarvis.
Video is not on.
And sound. Move on to the next one and we'll come back.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to the next evaluation. Evaluation for Toastmaster Nikhita's speech by Tony, and he's a district governor, currently the parliamentarian for Leadership Speak Toastmasters Club, and also for District 123. He says for him, emotional intelligence is a person's ability to deal with the world as they see it in an appropriate manner. And he's sharing a beautiful story here. His son, James, who has Down syndrome, who sometimes fascinates him on how he handles challenges and difficulties in his own way. On the other hand, he also see highly intelligent people continuously act in irrational ways. So therefore, for him, emotional quotient is more important than IQ. So that's DTM Tony. Over to you, DTM Tony, to evaluate Toastmaster Nikhita's speech.
Thank you, General Evaluator Ashwathi. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and especially you, Nikhita. Nikhita, do you remember before the meeting started, it was a bunch of us chatting, and I was joking, and I asked a question, how do I evaluate perfection? And we all kind of chuckled. Here's my attempt to evaluate your presentation. Your message, in my mind, was about you helping women walk through their darkness. And that immediately grabbed my heart, because what a great project for a high performance leadership project. I will present my evaluation on how you handled your presentation. The things I really liked about your presentation was verbal, great pace, excellent vocal variety. And your pauses were just very dramatic. Your gestures. Well, you know, you had your hands together like the tree forming roots, the roots forming together, reaching out. That's a very good gesture. But I have to say, it's your face. Your face lit up with the joy of this project. the commitment of what you were planning to do. Your face spoke volumes of how important this project was to you and to the women walking through the darkness. What an opening about organics, trees, roots, reaching out to each other. And you're closing with a great statement to support everything you had done, with the impact. And also you presented milestones, which is very important to a high performance leadership project, including tomorrow, which I just got love. Recommendation. If you could have explained more of a dilemma of the woman walking in darkness, we all kind of know what it is, but if coming from you would have given me more roots into this project. Describe a woman walking through her darkness. And what I really loved, Nikhita, were the statements that will remain in my mind, such as deep roots, growing laterally, but especially the one that really, really grabbed my brain, from solo to ensemble. From solo to ensemble. Nikhita, how I was maybe joking about how do I evaluate perfection? Maybe it wasn't a joke after all. Well done, Nikhita, and thank you. Back to you, GE.
Thank you so much for that beautiful, that great evaluation. I just loved the beginning of your evaluation when you said that this project is actually helping women to move out of darkness. That was so well said. And I cannot move ahead without mentioning that amazing presentation by Toastmaster Nikhita, a great project. What an amazing way to do your HPL, I would say. Congratulations and thank you so much for sharing that here today. So let's call, I think Barbara is back. So let me invite Toastmaster Barbara for evaluating Distinguished Toastmaster Hannah's speech. Hello. Barbara, are you
looks
there?
like Barbara is having a problem with her system. She's rebooted several times, but she cannot connect. So we will have to have a silent evaluation. We'll continue.
Sure. So let's move on to our fifth evaluation. The speech by Mrinal, Kanti, Ghosh. And the evaluator is Angela Brown. She says emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage emotions. It involves recognizing our own feelings and those of others, empathizing with them and effectively communicating. And people with high EQ make better decisions, handle stress well, and have healthier relationships. And it is a very important skill that contributes to personal and social success. So, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Angela Brown to evaluate Toastmaster Mrinal Kanti Ghosh's speech. Over to you, Angela.
Angela, you are muted.
You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and our guest, especially you, Mrinal. I really enjoyed your speech. I thought it was very inspiring speech, and your passion came across in your speech. I'll just tell you the thing that I thought you did well. There was a lot of them, so I'll go quickly. I thought it was a good opening with the dollar bill, and it was close to the screen. So I think that grabbed the audience attention. I thought you were moving forward and backwards, and you came close to the screen when you wanted to emphasize a specific point. So I thought that was good. You had good gestures like thumbs up, and you had your hands on your chest, and also just like flying your hand like an airplane. I thought that was good. I liked your ending with the power and the I'll conquer the world. And probably you will. And you had good eye contact with the audience. Your pace was also good, steady pace. I thought that there was probably more times when you could have had a bit more of a vocal variety. And also, I thought in the beginning, it seemed like you were rocking a little bit, like rocking back and forward in your posture. And your background kind of, you know, you're kind of going in and out. Even when you're showing the dollar bill, it was kind of, you know, taking it in and out. So I would suggest not having like that kind of a background in the beginning, maybe just a plain ordinary background. Other than that, I thought you did a really good speech. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Angela, for that wonderful, very constructive feedback. And now moving on to our next evaluation by Sandra Valks, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Ashwini Aronkar's speech. Sandra is a coach and has long practice listening with her gut, eyes, ears, and because the gut instinctively hooks into emotions. And she says she celebrates emotional intelligence and emotional awareness. So please welcome Sandra Valks to evaluate Toastmaster Ashwini's speech.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, where is Ashwini? I really enjoyed listening to you. In terms of content, that's still blending all those styles worked in really well with the title, which could twig us to the search is still on. You haven't decided just where you are, but you will. You know that we use all of the styles just in different areas of our life. When we have a different position, we use a style. But the one where you live comfortably is the one I think we saw displayed today. So your content was really wonderful. You have this amazing personal energy and you just reach right out to us. It's beautiful. You grab my heart just by being you, because who I'm seeing is real. You're enjoying yourself and you are touching my heart. So that's where I listen with my gut. What am I getting? My gut says, I like this woman. She's connecting. I'm not sure what all she's talking about, but she's connecting. Now, you did some lovely things, like you came right in, like suddenly I knew. And another time, a very serious tone. So when you came in, those were kind of your profound statements and had some pauses around them, but your pauses really need to be much more what I call a pregnant pause. And that might be not so brilliant for the men to understand, but a pregnant pause is, pregnancy takes time, and a really good pause is not just a little quick break. It's a powerful one where you take time to let that point sink in. Hold your expression, stay there, and really make the people hook in. That's a pregnant pause. So you have natural excitement in your moments. And you were unplanned for is a challenge that kills the flow and interrupts. So there's one point where you wanted to get something from the people. Like, what do you think? And you were literally pausing, expecting somebody to put in chat or answer. I find that a killer. And there's so many of us try that. But if it's unexpected, the audience is in a mode ready to listen. They're not ready to be answering questions. And that, to me, is always the challenge. Now, the big challenge I have for you is slow down. If Brahms says he speaks at 100 words a minute, I think you speak at 200 words a minute. It's a brrr. I've been working a lot in India, and the biggest thing I had to do when I was there was just to get them to slow down. Slow down, probably about half your speed. Because what you're doing is losing so much of our engagement because it's boom. And so, of course, if you go down to 100 words a minute instead of 200, it will cut your content, but you will have meaningful content, and then your body gestures will slow down with it. So that's where I see your big challenge. I'm really looking forward to your next speech because you're an amazing lady. Over to you, GE.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for that wonderful evaluation. And I loved your suggestion on pause. You actually stress on the power of pause, that how that can be, that can change the whole speech and add impact in your delivery. So that was wonderful. Thank you so much once again. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all with the evaluations of our speeches. Today we had an array of amazing speakers, and it was wonderful to listen to their personal stories and learn from their life lessons. So one thing which I noticed today was about the Zoom presence of all these speakers. I felt many of them were having virtual backgrounds. Some were really great, good to see. But when the speakers were moving, they were showing some hand gestures. We could not see many of it, was getting missed. We could not see the actual gesture. We could not see. And I felt that somewhere their emotions were also not coming across because the clarity was not perfect. And whenever we are having a background, it needs the perfect green screen setup or the perfect lighting. So all those things really helps. So I felt that can be something on which we all can work to improve our Zoom presence so that the impact and delivery is better. And today we had an amazing theme by our Toastmaster of the day, emotional intelligence. What a great theme for this meeting. And I just loved the way she was presenting all the speakers, the way she was wearing a warm and beautiful smile throughout. As a host, that is very important thing. And I really appreciate that even when she was not speaking, she was responding and she was wearing that smile continuously. And also appreciate the assertiveness, the attentiveness by our Toastmaster of the day. Immediately she responded to the situation when speaker's connection was disconnected, and she was handling that situation very well. Only one suggestion for the Toastmaster of the day is please go through the agenda at least before the meeting starts, because today we missed one speaker. So that is one small suggestion. And then we had a wonderful toast by our new Toastmaster, our new member, Toastmaster Sandra. And congratulations for your first time toast, raising a toast for this club. You had wonderful body language, I must say. Raising the toast, your body language was perfect. Nice to see that. And of course, then our timer, I really appreciate distinguished Toastmaster Brahm, who took over the role when our timer was not there. The actual timer was there in the agenda, but he recognized the timer, his presence, as soon as he felt that he's in the meeting room. And it was a smooth transition from him to the timer. So that was really nice. It is actually, this is what leadership is all about. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate all the role players, because I could see that by Wednesday, almost all 100% of the role players, they accepted their roles on Easy Speak. So that is really commendable. And I request all other members also, please go and mark your attendance on the Easy Speak. So that is one step towards the self-directed leadership. So that is one request for all of you. And another very important thing, will be greatly appreciated if all the members can turn on their videos. At least we can meet, we can see each other on Saturdays when we are meeting here. So it will be wonderful to see you smiling, enjoying, and learning together. So please turn on your videos. So with that, I end my evaluation here, and it was a wonderful meeting, a great learning experience with all of you. Thank you so much, and over to you, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aswati Rajan. You and your team did a fabulous job. It was insightful, empathetic, and constructive indeed. For me personally, this has truly been a visionary experience, planning and hosting this meeting for Leadership Speak. As I close, I would like to leave you with a very powerful quote. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, he said, anyone can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everyone's power, and that is not easy. On that note, I would like to invite our President, Brahmamor, a very
before you do that, if you can ask for the awards to see the awards and mention the awards,
right.
they'll
Certainly.
be displayed on the screen.
Thank you. I will do that. Can we please have the awards on the screen? Who is taking care of that?
Baron is here.
Okay.
He's probably putting the last name
The
on
names.
there. So.
Agree. Yeah.
So you have a couple of seconds to close off. Anyways, you can keep talking while he's doing that.
Oh yeah.
It's the nature of the beast.
Let's see the awards. I think our best speaker was, if I'm not mistaken, Mrinal. Can
Mrinal
anyone
is the best
confirm
speaker.
that? Yeah. And best evaluator, Sandra. Sandra, I've already sent you a message. I've already sent you a message.
All right,
Did you
thank
get my
you.
personal message, Sandra?
Pardon?
Did you get my personal message on chat?
Yes, for the Thursday coming up somewhere along
Yes,
the way. Yes, I did.
Thank you. All right, here's our two winners. Let's give them a big round of applause. Fantastic. Thank you so very much. On that note, I would like to hand over the virtual podium to our very charming, helpful, committed, goal-oriented, and self-directed leader, President, DTM, Brahmamor. Over to you, Brahm.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially welcome guests. Thank you for being here. You know that we are at Leadership Speak, so as the General Evaluator mentioned, please put on your videos if you're a member of Leadership Speak, because we are willing to share and jump into roles if we can, be flexible, be agile. This is our branding, to have presence. This is what leaders do. So if you're in Leadership Speak, your video should be on, unless, of course, you're in a low bandwidth area and you're having a little bit of a problem. It's very, very important. I would like to speak to our members, our guests, our guests who are here, who have sort of been with us for the past 2 hours and 10 minutes. So if you're a guest here, please stay on, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Some of you had a conversation already in the chat. Thank you for being here. We have Ernestina Lucas amongst us. How are you, Ernestina? All right. Since Ernestina isn't here or unable to hear us, the time now is, according to the agenda and my clock here, it's 11:40. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, but still stay on, because I'd love to speak to you all, members and guests. Do stay on for about a couple of minutes. Thank you. I'd like to recognize our brand new members, of course, Harish Bilgi. Harish, welcome. Are you there, Harish? Did you just log out? as I spoke his name.
He's there.
Hello,
Hi,
Harish.
Bram. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Introduce yourself to the club, Harish.
This is Harish, connecting from Dubai right now. I've been in Toastmasters for more than a decade now, maybe around 14 years to be precise. In fact, tomorrow is an important day for me because I'll be collecting my district championship award. I was the second runner-up this year, missed out coming to Bahamas.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, congratulations, Harish. And as you know, Nikhita here is going to go to the region and hopefully to the Bahamas. We wish her all the best. And you heard her speak today. Thank you very much. Our another member who's here was relatively new, who was here earlier. I don't know if she's still here. Beverly. Is Beverly here? Beverly Ongaro. She lives in
Yes,
Kenya,
I'm
but currently
here.
she's traveling. She's traveling in Sierra Leone. Yeah, she's here, but I don't know if she can hear us.
Yes, I am
Oh, there
here.
you are.
I
Hi,
am,
Beverly. So good to
Hi,
see
how are
you.
you? Nice
So
to
good
see
to see
you.
you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for welcoming me to the club. I am currently based in Sierra Leone doing some work. Here I take it for granted most of the time that internet is available, electricity, and I'm glad that today I've been able to connect to made alternative arrangement, and thank you so much for the warm welcome.
Thank you, and we'll love to have you back in our meetings when you reach Kenya safely, hopefully next week or in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you. PR Master Baron, is your computer working? Is your slides working now? Wonderful. No, not yet. All right. Baron is also struggling with his bandwidth currently. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've spoken to everyone. Except, Margaret Dawson. Hello, Margaret. Are you there?
I am here, unable to turn on the video for whatever reason. This is my first time joining the meeting. I actually forgot about it and came in pretty late. As a matter of fact, I came in pretty late actually when the evaluations were being conducted. So I didn't actually get to hear the speeches, but nevertheless, I enjoyed